Hello and welcome to another beer review. And today we're back on the BeerMonster and some kegs. And again, this one wasn't really planned. It only came about because there was a sale on, and I just happened to get an email from a company called Beerwolf to say that some of our kegs are marked down for whatever reason, for the sunny weather, holiday weekend, things like that. So I thought, right, I will get a couple. So I got a Heineken because I don't really drink Heineken. I haven't had Heineken for a long time. It's not a beer that I really kind of spend any time going near. And then I got something else which I haven't had for years. I had it a couple of times when I was in France many moons ago, which was quite nice, and I found it quite refreshing. But I do have a friend who drinks it quite regular, and he likes it. And I thought, well, he was coming over to visit. I thought, well, if it arrives in time, then great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But what I did get, and this was only about 20 quid, is Desperados, which of course is, I think I did a sister beer, Fischer. It's a Fischer brewery that makes Desperados. And I think I reviewed one of their blonde beers, which was quite nice. So I thought, right, why not see what the Desperados is like, which is basically a beer that's got kind of either tequila flavourings or tequila through it. And it's, I'm just looking at it. No, there is this 75% tequila, apparently, in it. There you go, that's what it says, going by the French. And of course, this has come from France. And it's 5.9%. It's 5 litres, and it cost me roughly about 20 quid. And yeah, so I got them two. So we'll try the Desperado, and then of course we'll do the Heineken in another review later on. But yeah, let's just see what it's like. So some people might like it, some people don't like it. I don't really mind it. I mean, it's not trying to be too serious. It's trying to be something a little bit different. Excuse me, and I don't see that as a real kind of main problem. My friend likes it, but what he noticed is that you don't really get it in a can so much now. You get it more in the big bottles or in a multi-pack of bottles. Multi-pack, he says, isn't so bad, but the problem is the big bottles are clear, and he has started to notice that a lot of them are getting quite badly skunked. So he's interested to kind of see what it's going to taste like. Is it any better in the keg? Which it could be, or it could just be as bad, but I don't think they're going to be skunked. So what we'll do is I'll put this in the machine. I will get my thumbnail before I do it. There's my thumbnail. And yeah, so we'll get this. Ooh. And put it in the machine and see what it's like. So I'll be back in a moment. So there we go, we're now back, and I didn't really want to put it in a kind of normal kind of pint glass because I want to treat it something a bit different. It's a bit more fun. So there you go, it's nice and clear, good head on it. It actually pours quite well. Obviously the first pour came out like that, which is kind of normal, and then afterwards pouring really nice. So what does it smell of? It smells, get a bit of grain, getting slight malt, but moreover, you're getting this kind of, how would you kind of say, it's almost like a lime flavour or aroma. Remember, we used to get, I don't know, but in the UK we used to be able to get a lager and lime, which was basically, they would pour you a pint of lager and then just slightly top it off with a little bit of lime cordial. And it just kind of made it a little bit more refreshing and things like that. So it kind of has that kind of smell about it of kind of lager and lime kind of scenario. Also, some of these other ones where you get certain beers that are basically done with lime. I think Forster's did a lime one, and it used to be quite popular doing them in Russia. There was quite a few. I think it was Sibersky Corona that was done in a lime version, and you could also get Baltica Cooler in a lime version as well, and things like that. I didn't mind them. So there we go. So the head's kind of dissipated a wee bit. Let's see what it tastes like. And it does. It has that kind of lager kind of lime kind of accents about it. Right, let's kind of break it down. What do we get at the start? Right, at the start, I'm getting kind of grain and malt, and I'm getting sweetness and malt, and I'm just getting a little bit of the kind of lime flavouring just there, just near the end of the front of the mouth. So before it goes from the front of the mouth to the mid-tongue, that's where I'm just getting the lime is really kind of coming in, and then of course it's moving on from there. There's that underlying sweetness, there's an underlying sweetness there. I don't know how much of that is actually coming from the actual beer and how much is maybe coming from whatever's done with the tequila, because tequila isn't sweet, but if it's mixed with anything, because like lime and things like that, it's not just straight tequila. I've never had a tequila to give that kind of sensation. So I don't know whether it's coming from the tequila or it's coming from the tequila mixture or flavourings or whatever they've added to it. They're claiming the 75% tequila. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, it's there is a kind of underlying sweetness. Where it's coming from, I can't really say. There is a bit of grain, there is a bit of malt. But the first real strong flavour you're getting is this kind of limeish kind of citrus flavour. But it's a kind of sweet lime citrus flavour. It's not a kind of bitter kind of citrus lime flavour. And then it moves on to the mid-tongue, and that's where you're really getting that kind of lime and maybe kind of tequila kind of flavours in the mid-tongue. That's where they're really good. You start with underlying sweetness, nothing is actually kind of bitter. It's kind of really done for kind of refreshment and freshness rather than a bitterness. So that's what you're getting in the mid-tongue, still the sweetness. And then it just kind of tails off, and the thing it tails off in the aftertaste is actually the kind of tequila kind of flavours. That kind of flavour of tequila and kind of mezcal, all that kind of slightly kind of sourish, kind of spiritual kind of flavours. But again, you don't really notice the sourness of it because it is quite a strong underlying sweetness there. In the aftertaste, what you're really getting is the sweetness dissipating and just a little bit of kind of accents of lime again, still hanging about and still left over. So that's really what you're getting. The real flavour of beer, no, there isn't really much of a flavour of beer. Really, it's nearly all kind of from the tequila side, lime, tequila flavours. I would say the beer is a kind of secondary thing. It's a kind of carrier. It's like, you know, when you get to kind of these aroma oils, and they'll add it to a carrier oil. So the main thing is you don't use so much of the actual the aromatic oils. You're using a kind of neutral kind of carrier oil to kind of dilute it, and that's I think really what the beer is. The beer there is a kind of a carrier really to help dilute whatever the tequila thing is, and yeah, there you go. It's quite nice, and I quite like it. I think it's quite refreshing, something a bit different. From a beer point of view, well, there's nothing really to review from a beer point of view because it's not really beer. I mean, it might have beer in it as part of it, but it's not really giving you any kind of beer flavours. It's not going to give you anything that's really kind of you can home in on from a beer point of view. But if you want a kind of refreshing drink that's something a bit different, that's easy to drink, and has a good kind of alcohol content, then yeah. I used to drink it now and again when I was in France on hot days, just to kind of. I don't want a soft drink. I don't want anything like that. I've been drinking water all day, and I don't want to kind of go straight in and have a beer because the first beer is just going to be kind of wasted because I'm tired, I'm thirsty. You're just going to get a gulp with the first one and things like that. So what I used to do was maybe have a couple of Desperados to start with. And that would just help get rid of all the kind of the thirst and the fast drinking and just the kind of the thirst quenching. Just when you really want something kind of cool and refreshing, and yeah, I used to do that, and then once I've completed that, I'd be onto the kind of more normal beers after that. And it means that I'm not wasting a couple of beers just kind of dealing with thirst quenching and things like that. So, what would I give it out of 10? From a beer point of view, I couldn't really give it very much, but as a drink, and it is sold as a kind of beer, or a beer-esque kind of drink, I'm going to give it, for what it is and what it actually does, I'm going to give it a 5. It's a good average, run-of-the-mill kind of, I would say almost an alco pop to a point. It was a bit more of an alco pop really than a beer, a serious kind of beer in any way, shape or form. But at the end of the day, it acts a bit like a beer, it gets ahead with it, it reacts to it. I would say it's more pleasant than taking a lot of these other alcoholic kind of soft drinks or fruit drinks. I think you've got WKD or Wicked, you've got Smirnoff Ice, all these other ones and things like that. So, my view, it's more interesting and yeah, it's a bit of fun, really. So, yeah, 5 out of 10. I would recommend it. Again, I don't know what it's like in the bottles, especially the clear ones. I'm trying to remember, I used to get it in cans in France many moons ago. I don't know what they're sold in there now, but yeah, I would recommend if you want something that's kind of a bit different, a bit more refreshing, and also a bit sweeter as well, then yeah, give it a go. If not, then hey, stick with your beers and enjoy them instead. But that's us. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.